pop culture with DJ and painting graffiti art are expressed every day within the inner cities of America and the world. You are not viewing hip-hop, you are hip-hop.
All right. Okay. So we're going to get right into it because there's always so much that is happening. But I've got a topic. Now, let me not say that. I don't believe that I can get it done in 30 minutes. I've already told myself it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to rush myself. But let me get right into something. And I want to start with a definition, because sometimes when you talk about ideas or thoughts or systems and people don't get it, it's good to give them the background, right? Like we need a foundation. So we're talking about patriarchy. And it is a social system in which the primary positions of authority are held by men in the areas of political leadership, moral authority, and control of property, right? So there is a patriarchy system, archal system in the US. We know that. Surely we know that. Up until a certain point, women were seen as property. There are some men right now who want to run it back to see us again as property, remove our right to vote and everything else. So just in case you didn't know where it comes from, I want you to know where it's coming from. So let me keep going. So when it comes to patriarchy and how Black women don't really fit in, patriarchy requires us to be compliant, self-sacrificing, invisible, overworked, and under-recognized. Now, why do I say Black women? Although we are all women, what we cannot do is pretend that we're treated the same. We are not treated the same, okay? Let's just go ahead. If we're going to have a conversation, we need to be upfront and honest about what we're talking about. Like, I think I often have thoughts about certain things. And I know some people would like to say, and it sounds good to say, why can't we all just get along? Well, we could. However, in order for you and everybody to just get along, you have to also point out why we're not getting along. So you got to talk about the things that make you feel sometimes a little icky inside, right? That's this conversation. So when Black women are themselves, right? When we are free thinkers, financially independent, publicly loved like Michelle, protected, self-advocating, refusing to shrink, it destabilizes the entire system, because you can't have people who think, and you can't have people who refuse to play along and be part of the game. That doesn't work. You need people to be in line. It requires it. That system requires people behaving and staying in their place. Okay? Now, why is it that people like Cankles and other people who believe like Cankles, why is it that he's always going after Black journalists, any Black leaders, Black lawyers? Why was it so important for them to remove Black women from as many places and spaces as possible? Because of this. When Black women live freely, white women see the life. They see the life they could have. They see what life could be like outside of the patriarchal obedience. They get ideas. They get big ideas. Now, some people are thinking that's impossible. No. Get into some circles, get into some facts, and you will get to the real deal about why a good chunk of this stuff is happening and why certain people act the way they act. When people get ideas what life could be like if you're not obedient, that threatens that racialized gender hierarchy that rewards white women for compliance. It does. Because you can't have somebody who can show you what life is like when you don't participate in that system, when you buck the system. You can't have that. You can't have rebel rousers. You can't have people who step outside. It tears it down. It tears all of it down. Now you're asking yourself, okay, Gwendolyn, I may see some of what you're talking about, but what does any of this have to do with Meghan? Well, let me tell you about Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, right? So just in case you didn't know, she's an American member of the British family, the royal family, right? She's known as an actress and a philanthropist, and she's an advocate for social issues, and she is a fair-skinned Black woman. And they give her hell every single day. They hate Meghan. They hate Meghan. And they can't even say why they hate her. Now, I was listening to a podcast about a month ago, and they were talking about her show With Love from Meghan, which I loved her show, by the way. Meghan is my people. Any woman who will go in the kitchen and pop a bottle open before she cooks, man, that's my chick. So somebody mentioned that Meghan was fake, that she was not realistic, like she couldn't relate. You know, she's got all these celebrity friends. First of all, she's an actress. And the same way that you would have people that you know from your industry, she knows people from her industry. She's an actress who knows other actresses and actors. How odd is that? And because she is now in a certain place, yes, she entertains. Meghan is a woman of privilege. So it's not odd for her to have people come over and for her to cook for them and make up their beds and do all these really nice things, things for them. That's not odd. And somebody said that she wants so badly to be Martha Stewart. I'm sorry. Aren't they all the same thing? How is that different? But let me tell you what really, in my opinion, what the problem really is with Meghan. Let me tell it to you. See, Meghan represents a version of Black womanhood that a lot of people refuse to acknowledge and don't want to see. Meghan, even though she's a fair-skinned Black chick, she should not be part of the royal family. She should not be there. That's just not right. She is a version of Black womanhood that is visible. She is loved by her husband, adored by her husband. She has autonomy. She is unbothered. She is a Black woman living privilege. And that upsets a lot of people. I mean, it gets under their skin. This young lady can do nothing. Nothing. Everything she does, there is a conversation about it. When she was pregnant, and she shared a video of her and her husband dancing in the delivery room. Oh my God, I can't believe she's doing that. There's nothing she can do. Nothing. And I don't even know if people really recognize why they're so angry. Now, look, I'm a Black chick. Been this way all my life. I do look at life through a different lens. I can't help but look at it through a different lens. I don't have that choice. This is it. This is it. Right? That is where I'm going today. We're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about the Meghan effect. That's what we're going to talk about. So here's what we're going to do before we get into all of the comments, what have you. We're going to play this intro and get right back to it. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's 4:00 and I am Gwendolyn, G.R. Houston Jack. You're watching Guuuuurl Listen. This is streaming live to LinkedIn. I can see that. It's also streaming live to YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, you can like, share, subscribe, do all the things. I'm going to get right to these comments because I don't want to go too far. I don't want to go too far here. So here we go. Hey, sister is here. Hello, sis. Hello to you. Letta's here. Hello, Letta. Welcome. She also says, facts, we're not treated the same. No, we are not. And I'm going to be really clear here. I want to say this. There is a dear friend. Her name is Aisla. She has a YouTube channel called By Curian, and I highly suggest you go follow her over there. She and I have this podcast called Not Dinner Conversations. We took a slight hiatus, grandbabies being born, the whole 9 yards. But we have the really hard conversations. We have them. Because at some point, you cannot, and I know I shouldn't say can't, but you cannot keep pretending that you don't see what you see. Or if your privilege allows you to turn your head and ignore what you see. I'm just at a place where we got to have a conversation. So Aisla and I always have these conversations, and we actually did have a chat about Black women and white women and how we are raised differently. There is a difference there. And ignoring that difference is a problem. Like when people say, I don't see color, that's a problem. Now you can say it's low-key racist. I say it's racist because you need to see people, see them as they are, and all that comes with it. All right. So we're not, this is not a sugarcoated thing. Jay says they were welcoming to her though. Were they? I don't know about that. That's interesting. I'm not so sure about that. He said, no, her attitude, her behavior towards staff has turned a lot of people off. Okay. I would like to agree with that. But again, different lens. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. And if we look at even the comments they make about Meghan, yeah. Even before she got there, in my opinion, it was never her attitude. Now we can find excuses for all the things. We can, but I am coming from a different place. I'm coming from that place. The royal family is racist. Yeah, there were talks about, what her kids would look like. That conversation was there because, DNA. And I get that she is fair-skinned. Just because you're fair-skinned doesn't mean that, one of your kids could be chocolate. That's just how it is. And they all can't be wrong? Actually, yes, they can be. It can be. And if you think about, like for me, and we're going to get into this, when we think about the angry Black woman stereotype, that how dare a Black woman advocate for herself? Yes, they all can be wrong. That is true. We're not angry. I'm just not going to let somebody talk to me crazy. Dr. Tachi's in the building. Hello. We have all the hellos coming in. Jazzy made it. Look at you. We have all the hellos coming in. Let us say the story of our lives. If we're happy, successful, living life and not caring what others think, that becomes a problem. That is true. It becomes a problem. I would like to say that that's not the case, but it is the case. It is very much so the case. This is where we are. We have 5,000 hellos. We got all the hellos coming in. Jessica says, I watched the documentaries. They clearly had a problem with her being Black. Yes, they did. Like we can pretend. Again, I say this. When I think about Star Trek, okay, because that's clearly a utopia where you got all the aliens and things together, you still have to recognize what's there. And even with the world of Star Trek, there were still people who didn't like these people, right? Like that was still there. And we like to believe that we're kumbaya, but you can't get to a kumbaya until you really talk about what the problem is. We don't want to talk about what the problem is. Now, we do have Kankles to help us out. Dropping in to say hi, everyone. I'm going back to work. Gee, keep up the great work. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. We don't want to talk about it, but the good thing is we have Kankles in the office. And he gonna keep giving us content. So we'll talk about that. We will talk about that. Let me get back to the story because here is the deal. We're gonna talk about Black women today, okay? Because Black women shape American culture. They drive political outcomes and sustain entire economic ecosystems. Yet the research about Black women consistently shows that the influence is undervalued, even as their impact is undeniable. Now, y'all can't see my shirt. I'm going to take a picture afterwards. But my shirt says Black women are the blueprints, right? Because we are. We're not going to pretend like this isn't here. So let me do this because it just works. I love when the world gives me what I need. But we're going to do our donkey of the day real quick. All right, so let's talk real quick about what I'm not going to give more than, set my timer, 3 minutes of energy to. And this is that ridiculous video that came out today from Cankles, right? Now, here's why I'm not giving it much energy, because we have been there and done that. When President Obama was in the office, these people, and I said that, these people made caricatures of Michelle and their children as apes and gorillas and everything else. It is the oldest racist trope that you can ever put out there. Been there, done that. I'm not moved. And I know you're like, what? Well, you're not. We have seen this before. Furthermore, in my opinion, you do stuff to distract from what you're really trying to do. So really quick, I want to talk about how this video that has now been taken down, it was supposed to be some fun video of him being king of the jungle, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, they are blaming a White House staffer for making this pose and they took it down. Whatever. New is a new day, but same old BS at the end of the day. People are so up in arms about that, as you should be. However, I am more up in arms about Steve Bannon talking about using ICE at polling places where people have to vote. I'm upset about the very obvious talk about rigging the midterms, rigging the election, period. That's where my concern is. I'm not worried about this video. We have been there and done that. That ain't nothing. We went through 8 years of that years ago. We have seen that I don't know how many times. Is it disgusting? Yes, it is. It's disgusting. But guess what? Some people voted for a felon. That's even more disgusting. So what do you get when you put a felon, person who protects pedophiles, in the White House? You get this kind of behavior. We're on to the next thing. I am not going to be distracted. I am not even going to give it any more time than that. Not. It's just like, why? Come on now, people. Come on. The more time people spend in spreading that disgusting video, sharing screenshots or images, it's just more time for not focusing on what we got to focus on. What these people are doing. Yeah, don't be distracted on that BS. Let's not do that today. Just says absolutely disgusting behavior. Yes, they knew exactly what they were doing. Of course they did. And here's the deal. This regime keeps testing the waters. Just how far can we go? How far can we push things? I mean, look at Minneapolis. How far can we go? We have already said it. Black women done been said it. Yes, I said done been said it. This is it, right? But they will keep testing the waters to see how far they can go. But you have a felon in the White House. What do you expect? I mean, do you really expect somebody with any kind of moral compass, integrity, character? Did you really expect that? They took it down because they knew it was wrong. He is so jealous of them because he and his concubine could never be them. As I said earlier, Dr. Tachi, the adoration for the Obamas, the adoration, the accomplishments, the swagger, will never, ever touch that, ever. He's just not built that way. He's just not. So what do? You do those kinds of things. Yes, Jazzy, we have to stay focused, people. Really, I'm serious about that. Stay focused. Because while everybody's talking about this video, we're not talking about them using freaking ICE at polling places. What in the goodness is going on? That's the concern, people, not this video. We've seen that BS before. That ain't nothing new. So I said the same thing. It's nothing new and nothing is going to change. Exactly. So with that, we're moving on. Let's get into it, ladies, because here's the deal. Here is the deal. We're going to talk about what Black women do. We're going to talk about it. And I know people are like, do they do a lot? We do a damn lot. First, let's go with the cultural impact. Let me start with that, shall we? So I am wearing my Black Girls Are From the Future. You can get yours too. You can go to blackgirlsareFromTheFuture.com to pick up your t-shirt or sweatshirt. But Black women are not just cultural participants, they are cultural architects. Their influence spans language, music, digital culture, fashion, and political discourse. Black women are trendsetters and originators. We know that. So from the AAVE, now I know people think, isn't that like cryptocurrency? No. Well, yes, it is. This one is about the African American vernacular, English, or you can say Ebonics. To beauty standards, to digital activism, Black women's cultural production becomes mainstream and often without credit. If you look at the digital culture leadership, Black women drive online political discourse, meme culture, social justice movements, Black Lives Matter. Cultural disruption through autonomy. When Black women assert agency, it challenges the racialized gender hierarchy that expects them to be silent, compliant, or invisible. Let me tell you really quick. This right here. I can't tell you, because I stopped counting, but the number of times that I'm online with my dear friend Ron on his show, and people think that they're getting to me when they say, oh my God, I don't want to see two men talking online. Then bitch, turn off your TV. You ain't got to watch us. You can go about your business. But more importantly, why would you think that you trying to say that I'm a man or look like a man hurts my feelings? Which, mind you, same thing happened to Michelle. The same thing. The projection is so funny. It tells me so much about them and their identity, their sexuality, the issues with it. It says so much about them. Yeah. When we show up like this and we refuse to participate in their idea of what's beautiful, you got to know it causes mad chaos. Let me go back to my comments really quick. As I said, I said same thing. Nothing new. Nothing's going to change. Tati is already streaming Becoming as we speak. Yes. It's a great documentary. Please continue to watch it. Run up the numbers. They want to make us mad. So we go in the streets shouting, nope, stand out of this. Yeah, we know these tricks. We have been there and done that. Ain't nobody doing that. They know you don't look like a man. They're jealous and want to be you. But when you decide to not follow the routine, when you decide to do your own thing, it is a problem. It's a problem. Highly, right? Black women, the idea of controlling your body, your voice, your narrative, the cultural visibility, especially when it is joyful and autonomous and unbothered, it destabilizes the system. It rejects the stereotypes. It models freedom for other women. It is refusing to perform subservience. It redefines womanhood outside of white norms. No, I'm not blonde, blue-eyed, and it's okay. We're not thin. We ain't trying to be like Marilyn, and it's okay. We are loving every bit of curve and every version of chocolate that exists when it comes to being a Black woman. Yes, that is real. This system is built on containment, and it cannot tolerate Black women who refuse to be contained. I already said I'm making my shirts. I am making my shirts sometime in this year. Bitch, I can't be boxed. I'm making my shirts. Yeah, you can't contain this. It just cannot be. It can't be. And keep in mind, we have so many images telling us from the moment we are born how we are not attractive, how we should not be loved, how Black women are hard to love. Quick little side note, when I think about Sierra and Russell Wilson, and he loves his wife, the hate they receive, right? The hate that Sierra receives from her ex. I almost said something. Hate. Now, when I say they come in all shapes and sizes, so hear me clearly. But that includes some Black people too. Understand that. To see a Black woman being loved and adored, ugh, they can't stand it. Isn't that awful? Like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Let us continue. We have the economic power of Black women. Now, the research from the Urban Institute of 1 Million Black Women Research Partnership, it highlights the structural forces shaping Black women's economic lives. Now, here are the key findings. Black women hold less wealth than any other race gender group due to historic and ongoing exclusion from wealth building systems. There is the structural barrier that includes discrimination in labor, housing, financial markets. There's limited access to capital. There's under-evaluation of Black women's labor. There is also the fact that, you have people who are doing things to uplift Black women. And even with that, they try to find ways to cut that down. But despite all the barriers, right, Black women are still overrepresented in the labor force. They outperform Black men in higher education, and they drive entrepreneurship at some of the fastest rates in the U.S. We have seen that time and time again. We continue to see it. So when we have our independence, our financial independence, it's a direct threat. Again, why? Because we earn our own money and we build businesses, we have access to capital, and we create wealth. This undermines the system that they're built on for underpaid or unpaid labor. When you have economic mobility, that challenges your racial and gender hierarchies at the exact same time. This is why when people like to talk about their grandmothers and how their grandfathers stayed together forever and how she was at home and did all this stuff, you're romanticizing a moment of time without fully knowing what was going on. The moment women were able to get education and their own financial independence, they bounced. They got up and got out. Just saying. So you may like to believe that your grandparents loved each other, and maybe they did. Maybe there was a lot of love there. I'm not saying that's not there. However, we do know that there were a lot of relationships that were just there because a woman could not get out of the house without being married. And then whoever married her, she didn't have any choices. Choices make the difference. It bucks the system, which is why they're working so hard to take them choices back. Let's just keep that real. All right, here's our last play here. Let me take that down. Let's go back. Political influence of Black women. Yes, let's talk about that. So Black women are widely recognized as the most reliable and influential voting bloc in the United States. The Center for American Women and Politics, CAWP, highlights their growing power as candidates, organizers, and voters. Now, here again are those key findings. Black women are a tour de force when it comes to American politics, shaping elections at local, state, and national levels. The political behavior is deeply informed by lived experiences with racism, sexism, and economic inequality. You have scholars like Dr. Nadia Brown and Dr. Jewel Prestage. They have documented Black women's leadership in political movements, their role in expanding democracy, and their emergence as political elites. Now, I'm going to take a quick one step back, because it wasn't too long ago. It was like a few weeks ago where there were two dudes who got on their podcast to tell people not to vote for Jasmine Crockett. And one of those guys didn't even know what the other guy even stood for. They didn't know. This is not a conversation about the Democratic Party and how some of the institutionalized Democrats continue to keep us in a bad state. This is not that conversation. But I found it so funny that these two people made a whole entire podcast about Jasmine. Now, if you want to see an example of somebody bucking the system, oh, that's that one. She's definitely that one. She's that one. And I love her town halls. Can you say that? I love her town halls. Let me get back to it. Let me get back to my deal here. Let's keep talking about the women and the voting. Now, Kamala Harris's historic nomination is contextualized within decades of Black women's political labor and intellectual groundwork. Now, there is inside our group, there is still some diversity. So Cambridge University Press did a 2024 study that said, look, Black women's political beliefs, they do vary by region and socioeconomic status. That means that we're not a monolith. Of course, being Black is not a monolith. Your regional cost of living, that will shape your political priorities. And then your economic conditions will also influence your policy preferences. We're not going to pretend that what's happening in your day-to-day does not impact how you vote and what you are focused on. If you're trying to figure out how to put food on the table, that's going to be your focus, right? That's where you're going. You're not thinking about some of the other things that someone else who doesn't have that as their main focus. You're on two different pages. So we recognize that. We are not a monolith. We are not. But there are some things that we do have in common. That much is true. That much is true. Shout out to Ron Foster, who is here. Hello, sir. Hello to you. Let us keep going. So why does our political power disrupt patriarchy? Well, this is why they want to take away our right to vote. It depends on women being politically passive. Now, we're not going to pretend. I love how we don't want to pretend here. We're not going to pretend that wasn't just like a year and some ago where there were some women who were concerned if their husbands would know how they voted. You're in this booth by yourself, but yet and still you're looking over your shoulder like, is he going to know that I voted for VP Harris? Will he know? Okay. Patriarchy needs women to be politically passive. And I'm not saying that how people think is strictly based on who influences them, but there are some people that they have interviewed, young, old, or what have you, where they say, oh, well, my father voted this way or my family voted this way. Just saying. But let me continue. So Black women, we vote at high rates. We organize committees. We lead movements. We hold office. We shape policy. Yes. Now, a lot of Black women said some things about 2 years ago. Folks didn't want to listen. So we're here today. Their political power challenges a system that historically denied them civic participation. Now, I get at this moment, there are a lot of people that are just waiting, literally waiting for us to get back outside. I get it. Yeah, I don't know when that time is coming. I can't tell you. It's not coming anytime soon. I can't say that. Dr. Tachi says, if you're looking over your shoulder to see if your husband will see your vote, you have bigger fish to fry than voting. Yes, you do. But that's the whole point, right? Like this idea of being free to choose what's best for you. You know, for some people, I'm going to go back real quick because I know last year we talked about women who are misogynists, and we discussed that the war on women is where it is because you have women who help keep that war going. You have to have women who also hurt other women. The policies that are being created right now within the Heritage Foundation, there are women who are backing that because you need them to be obedient to this system, to participate, right? And in my head, I have always felt the women who go that route, I feel like it's a level of jealousy and they're trapped. They want another life. They desire another life, but they can't get it. And if they can't get it, then the idea is I am going to snatch it for everybody else. I mean, and maybe somewhere in there, if you do something enough, you start believing your own BS. If you tell enough lies that you have ended 8 wars, you start believing you've actually ended 8 wars. Although you have not, right? If you say it enough, you start believing your own BS. I believe that some of that has to be in there. It just has to be in there. As Lisa says, shout out to Lisa, they don't like themselves. And I think that could be in there too. It could be in there too. But imagine the level of fear that you have, knowing that you have the right to vote, but you are so concerned whether or not your husband, who clearly may not be on the same page as you, could see how you voted. Look, let that marinate for a hot moment, like a real hot moment. Let it marinate. Let me continue, right? Let me continue. Okay, so here's the deal. I gotta get that out of the way so we can all see it. Let's talk about how our freedom creates the chaos, because we are creating chaos. We get it. So across all 3 domains, culture, economics, politics, the research shows that a consistent pattern. Black women's autonomy destabilizes systems built on our silence. When Black women think independently, refuse patriarchal obedience, gain economic power, lead politically, shape culture on their own terms, it exposes the fragility of the systems designed to contain them. And what else does it do? It shows white women what life could look like outside of the patriarchal compliance. That is profoundly disruptive, profoundly liberating. You don't want people to get ideas of what life could look like. You don't want them to get those ideas. You look, can you imagine? Now, let me go back. Let me not say, can you imagine? Right now, there are women building whole communities just for women. Yeah, because, we're not saying all men, but it just happens to be a man. Yeah, whole communities just for women, because they don't want to have to deal with the BS from that other side. Not all guys, but typically if something happens, it's a guy, right? A whole community just for women. Not having to deal with, it was just the other day, and please help me out. What's that chick name who, I think she's with CNN, Caitlin, whatever her name, and Kankles told her to smile. You know what? The last thing I need is some dude to tell me to smile. We don't need that. We don't need that. And I'm sure a lot of us have had it. We've had the cat calls. We've had well, you could smile more. Why are you, we don't need that. We don't need it. Not all men, but it happens to be a man. Yeah, women don't need that. But you have guys who still believe that women are property, that we should have our right to vote removed, that we are simply here to push another human out of our womb and keep it moving. That's it. That's it. But see, Black women, in my opinion, thank you, Caitlin. Yes. In my opinion, because we are from the get-go told that we're not the idea of American beauty. I mean, do you guys remember when Vanessa Williams became, was it Miss America or Miss USA? Help me out. I can't remember which one it is, what pageant. But when she won that pageant, they went all the way to find her Playboy pictures, and of course, she had to give it up. And again, another fair-skinned lady. When Kendra Moore won, I was like, what? Because, Cankles is horrible. Yeah. Same thing, Lisa. It's like, I don't need you to tell me to smile. Why don't you smile more? Why don't you mind your business? Right? But there is this, I know I don't have all the time to do it here, but thank you, sir, Miss America. Thank you very much. But when you think about slavery, and how, white women were put on this pedestal, and you want to preserve their sanctity and their fragility. And so you put them here, and then all the while you are creating a product by sexually assaulting this young woman. Yeah. Or you have the guy who sees dating Black women as a fetish because she's so exotic. Ugh. I'll have to go down that path some other day. I don't want to have it today. But here is what we do have. When you look at the vernacular that you use, the snapping of the fingers, the rolling of the neck, the BBLs, the big lips, all of that. You didn't get that on your own. You didn't get it. You didn't get the choreography on your own. The dress, you didn't get that by yourself. That came from a Black woman who more than likely did not get her credit. Okay? Right? So when I say, girl, listen, yeah. Like real talk. Like recognize where that came from. Please recognize it. The influence is there. It is so there in so many places. Now, I get that it's Black History Month. We may have to do another show somewhere in there. But yes, the influences, and yes, I hate it. I had a dude ask me one time, really quick. He said, are you like regular Black or exotic Black? What? Yeah, the ridiculousness. Woo, y'all. Seriously. Let me do this really quick though, just so I know that my time is almost up here because I do want to get this going and let you guys get back to your day. If you just tuned in, hey, welcome. This is Guuuuurl Listen, and I am Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. And you know, it didn't even dawn on me that it was Black History Month because every day is Black History Month. American history is Black history, so I don't really pick a month to celebrate what we do, but you know, I love how Mr. Jack now wants to cut the lawn. Now I told him I was going live. He know it's Friday. But let me not go there. Let me get into what we have going on. We have upcoming events. Hey, next week we have a Galentine special. It is myself, Ms. Alice, Jazzy, and Lisa. We're getting together Thursday, February 12th. 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. You want to turn in. We're talking about, leave Mr. Jack alone. We're talking about love, self-love, Galentine's, relationships. You want to be there. So be sure to tune in. You'll see more about this on our social media platforms as well as YouTube. So stay tuned. Thursday, February 12th, again, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Yeah, you know, we are bringing all of the stories to one place. You know, Miss Elise just celebrated 50 years of marriage. I am almost at 9, but 10 years together. So we got, you know, there's a lot going on here. We are talking about it. So be sure to tune in next week. Look for that. And then also, because it really will be Galentine's Day, I'm going to talk about being your best love, why it starts with you. And I know people are like, oh my God, that's so... Look, I'm like Mama Ru. If you can't love yourself, how the hell you going to love somebody else? That is real. It is real, okay? And my husband knows I love me some G. He knows. But that's why he knows how to love me, because I had to show him and whatever. Like I said, that's next Friday. I want to miss what else is going on? Hold on here, because I do have my friends at the conference call. Their show is back, the recap show.
Hello, and welcome to the recap show. My name is Chris Edwards. I'm here with my other two co-hosts, TJ and Ronald. Every week we join you and recap one of your favorite shows. So don't forget to like our page, to subscribe, and to also hit the notification button so you can get notified every week when we drop new videos. New videos drop every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you guys for watching, and we can't wait to see you guys next week.
Also, too, if you want to join on Wednesday, February 11th, we are bringing back the Lights, Camera, Subscribers. That is our YouTube workshop. That is coming back. Woo, so much going on in February. So much. I don't know how I get it all done, but I get it all done. And lastly, you can also get on the email list. If you want to get on the email list, you can scan this QR code. I don't do a lot of emails. I do one a month because I am that that Virgo. I need to be organized. But one a month, that's all you need. But it's coming for this month. I haven't done it yet, but it is coming. Hey, let me get these last few comments as we wrap this up. She says, hey there. Ron is giving us the laugh. Hey, what can I say? There's so much happening. Sometimes I forget. But I want to thank you all for being here today. I had a great time last night playing with some alcohol. Stay tuned for that. That's a whole nother something that is coming on Indie Soup Media. But hey, what can I say? We're always into something. As I let you all go, this is serious though. This is real talk. Stay focused. Okay. I would say stay woke, but most of y'all are already awake. But stay woke, stay aware, recognize the foolishness. Do not feed into that foolishness. Don't feed into it. Don't give it any attention. If anything, you could be on the opposite side and either stream becoming to run those numbers up. You could share the beautiful photos of the Obamas and their family, their daughters, and just be aware, but talk to your loved ones, help them get it together. Keep an eye on what's really going down. Be safe this weekend. It is Super Bowl weekend. It's time for Bad Bunny. I don't speak a lick of Spanish, but I'm going to be dancing, okay? And I'm moving for the Seahawks. So there is that. But enjoy your weekend. Be safe. God willing, I will see you all next week. Hey, it's G. Thank you for watching this episode of Guuuuurl Listen. Be sure to catch me every Friday at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. And while you're here, I cordially invite you to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you all next week.